Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Willington School Building Committee to order at 7:03 p.m. on August 24th, 2026. Members present are looks like a full house, myself, James Marshall, Adam Burr, Adam Zalonis, Jeremy Brothers, Peter Bacon, Ann Groschan, and Lisa Eaton. And it looks like, I thought I saw him online. I believe we have John Tien attending virtually.
I'm here.
All right, John, thank you. So no need to seat alternates. So without further ado, we'll go right into the next agenda. Community forum Q&A. Public participation is encouraged. Speakers are encouraged to utilize this opportunity for dialogue with the committee constructively and will be limited by appropriateness, staying on topic, and maintaining decorum. Time will be limited to a maximum of 30 minutes or extended at the discretion of the chair. I'll start in the room. There's just one. Public participation? No? Good thing. Okay. Anybody online? I see Ralph first. Ralph?
Yep, give me a second here. I'm trying to clear some windows off my screen. Okay.
Just identify yourself, Ralph.
Yes, Ralph Toulis, let's see, Village Hill Road, Willington. With respect to the choice that the committee has put forth, I hope that the taxpayers of Willington can understand the implications well enough to make a sensible decision at referendum time. I have one simple request. There are two pillars at the entrance to the athletic field between Hall School and the existing Hall School and the fields. I would respectfully request that those be preserved and somehow incorporated into the design of the new school. That is a legacy item that, while we may not be able to preserve the original Hall School, at least that is a symbolic preservation of the Hall family's legacy. And I think it would be incumbent upon this committee to successfully incorporate that into the new school. And that is all I'm going to say today.
Excellent. Thank you, Ralph. Definitely something we'll consider seriously for sure.
Can I comment on that?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
There are a couple plaques connected to either family members or prior students that have passed away on property that we know about, that those pillars are tied to a Hall child who had passed. And so that's something obviously that we would, as a school district, recommend as well, that any of those items be identified early if there's a project, and that they're woven into some sort of design, some sort of remembrance, whatever it may be, if there's a future project.
Excellent point.
And I would thank Mr. Stevens for those comments. Very well meaning. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will, of course, continue dialogues with the Hall Foundation and your team. I know it's a priority for you guys as well. So definitely something we'll want to be cognizant of. Thank you, Ralph. Anybody else online? Miss another one. All right. Going once, going twice online. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll move right along. Chair report. I do have a couple of things I want to mention. First, just to put it out at the front of the meeting, on Wednesday, September 2nd at 7 p.m., the school building committee will be having another community conversation event with our esteemed colleagues over here, architects, OPM, and the committee. So just putting that on everybody's radar, it is really the opportunity to have to ask your questions. There'll be a presentation with Q&A to follow. It'll really be a good opportunity for this committee to hear from community members, answer any questions, and get answers right from the team of experts that we have contracted. So September 2nd, 7 p.m., Hall Memorial School Gym. Other updates. Last week was a busy week. We were before Board of Selectmen, we were before Board of Finance, and we were before Planning and Zoning Commission. At Board of Selectmen, they set the public hearing date for September 8th. So make sure that's on all of your calendars. That will be at Willington Hill Fire Station, and it will be at 6 p.m. Largely had concerns for temperature control and size, volume, and parking. But that was set by the selectmen, so that's what we're doing. Planning and Zoning Commission, we were there for the 824 referral, which was approved. Without comment, any hearing, well, there were some good questions and dialogue.
Yeah, there was.
But it was, I think it was unanimous, if I remember correctly.
No, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Well, one abstention.
1%, you're right. She was a teacher, I didn't realize she was a teacher, I'm just on there. So that went well, and then Board of Finance, we met with last Thursday, and they, gave approval for authorization upon, and funding, recurring debt obligations, on the behalf of town. It's just another step in the process, to get towards referendum. So all three of those were successful. We are on schedule, still on track towards that September 29th. Sorry, a lot of dates. September 29th referendum target. That'll be confirmed by the Board of Selectmen at a later date after the public hearing. Other note, because I know it's been on our agenda and it popped up, the Tom's agreement is fully executed and signed and it's all done. So, better late than never. Thank you guys for your patience. But that is officially taken care of. And I think with that, we'll leave it at that for now. Everything else we're going to talk about moving forward.
I'm sorry, the town meeting.
That will be set by the Board of Selectmen at a meeting following the public hearing. They set the date for the public hearing. Assuming public hearing is successful, they'll move to try to conform to the schedule, but that'll happen at that time. So. All right. Right along. New business, project budget, debt servicing, and tax impacts, update and discussion. You guys, I am not logged on to the Zoom, but I will jump on the share screen and the budget summary. What you guys have in your packets is basically the information that was presented to the various boards last week in one form or another. Just a summary sheet on the selected project. You have the Collier's project budget. We have the debt servicing schedule for Munistat. And if I remember, might have sent you. And cat flow, sorry, the cat flow forecast from Collier's is also on here. So that is all the information I generated. That's all the information about this final project. You've seen it, but we haven't actually had a chance to kind of go over it and discuss it as a committee. So the one thing I think we talked about the project budget and cash flow at our previous meeting because we had those in hand, but we didn't have the debt servicing. And I thought, you'll also want this if you can find your sheet. I'll put this up on the screen, but that is kind of the budget impact summary. It's later in your packet, going out in the back of our mailing. You've also seen that, but. So, I mean, I'll start and then you guys can chime in, but some important points on this. Since we last spoke, obviously the reimbursement rate was improved 1.25 points, which is great because it dropped there significantly. We expected. But beyond that, with the geothermal, everything else, the prior strategy of basically using capital reserve savings to offset the impact before the school was operational in 2030 at least. So that strategy is to remain the same. So there is zero change in spending related to this project. till a year after the school is open, because of our reserve savings. It also pays down the first few years of the bond in that time. Because the bond would start in 2030. And that reserve saving will capture the first few years of the bond, so, when we actually start to see a change in spending. Related to the debt servicing, or we've only got 18 years left in the 20-year bond, which is good for the town as well. This kind of summarized the impact. It basically regurgitates the debt servicing schedule. And I apologize, I said I was gonna put this on screen, so I'll stop talking. So I can focus on that. But it basically takes the impact of the debt servicing and then includes the other operational savings and offsets that are realizable because of this project, leading to a positive, or I guess, reduction, and projected reduction in the budget, so positive, down. Go ahead.
As a CIP, Eric,
Yes,
do you have the updated, or are we developing an updated, CIP plan based on if this passes reference?
that'll definitely be a subject of the committee for the entirety of this coming budget season, how that factors in. It will be. Yes, we have, yeah, because we haven't met.
Because obviously, large impact here, and then, we need lawyers, probably data and Technology data on operational maintenance costs, projections.
Yeah, not,
Or capital, I'm saying.
the budgetary stuff won't come in, it'll just be, for CIP, it'll really just be the debt servicing, impact, and it'll be so the thing that'll hit CIP are the reserve transfer. And then the cost of the financing, the operational stuff goes with the selectmen's budget, the 40-year budget, so it's not really directly related to CIP.
We have capital though for building long-term football.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that as well.
Okay, I'm saying we need a date.
Correct. So, yeah, the CIP committee will be looking at that. We, are scheduled to meet in September. We haven't over the summer due to conflicts and not having a budget until almost August. So, that'll be,
Yeah,
that'll be,
that all affects the budget.
Yep.
Hopefully.
You want that on screen?
do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir. Because I'm struggling.
Sorry, well,
Yeah, just so that we can all be talking about it. This is obviously, this has margins on it. So, this is also the backside of your forthcoming ballot that, we'll talk about later. But yeah, the bottom lines, or the key factors to kind of pay attention to is that, after operational savings, those bottom two highlighted rows, net change in spending and net mill rate impact, that factors in the projected operational savings, from both staffing and, building efficiencies and other budgetary factors. Again, it's important to note that this is all, we as a committee developed this pretty conservatively, right? Taking the lesser of potential budget offsets for operational savings. I suspect the building efficiencies and performance of the building is probably going to do better than this, especially with geothermal and or solar as captured in the budget. But again, it is somewhat conservative at this point in time.
This base in 93 is gonna be.
This is all based on the 94.58. Yeah, so this is updated with the latest and greatest. These are the numbers going around.
So if we do have the geothermals in the project of Mountain PD, should we not revise the projected energy usage? The associated operating costs.
We will as a part of the project.
Alright.
yeah, that happens after. Right.
Yeah, at this
I mean,
point,
it'd be nice if we had to do it before referendum,
what's,
you know.
yes, we can say, all I can say is that the expectation is that we will improve on these numbers that are already showing a reduction. At this point, I think there's probably more involved in. I'll defer to you guys, the professionals in the room.
I think there's still a lot on the table. If we incorporate that and make it better, savings.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's I leave it to you guys. I think understanding, the design of the geothermal system, the full capacity, solar, I think that's all. We're gonna have to work that through as the building program develops and finalizes, I imagine.
Correct, correct. I think we're operating under conservative assumptions at this point, which is sort of best practice at this point. We can certainly ask.
You're gonna have to speak up.
Sorry.
For that thing.
Sorry, Justin, from Tecton. The numbers that that are part of this are conservative assumptions. We can certainly circle back with our mechanical engineer to understand what those efficiencies.
Yeah, because the geo wasn't. Okay.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? I guess at this point, this is pretty dialed in, for the project that we developed, which is great. So the effort is really, outreach with the community and expressing how, much of a lifeline this potentially is for the community. Given what it would face in trying to maintain our existing buildings, that is the real comparison here, the significantly greater costs over the next 10 years and beyond to maintain our existing buildings versus this consolidated school project. So it's really important to get that information out to the community.
Do we have those numbers, side by side? That might be something to do year by year.
That is something we can work through, and I think that'll be the subject of a next mailer. It did come up with Board of Finance. I believe it was a community member question actually asking if they could be, if we could develop what this impact means to the average household in town, and the business manager was, yeah, and that'll come from the business office. So we'll have to work with Sherry and get that, but I think that it'll be important information to send out publicly as part of the next hour.
I think it's really important for the people who voted against the budget, that they understand that this is a way to save in our education budget in the future. And if I can see those numbers side by side, I'd be pretty convinced.
Yeah, and these are, that's a good point. That'll segue into discussion about the community conversation event. I think that might be something on the town side that we bring up there as well. We can get done for that.
I think you should have, definitely, just like you had before, there was, I remember a chart with cost of your house, how much your house value was.
Yeah, they did that for the
And
budget.
then, yeah, and then we had, this is what your tax reduction would be, well, that be the increase. So, something like that, where they can actually see what it means to them.
Yep.
And we could do it year by year, so that it'll be benefit.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to connect with Sherry yet, but,
Doesn't have to be pretty, they do that for every house. No, just like a range.
No,
just
they
like
can do
a
it for
medium range,
Yeah.
$50,000 steps or something, yeah.
50 to 100.
Give people the ability to kind of select their own circumstance, some degree, but well, kind of, I think we'll probably benchmark it against the median or mean, property value, but.
You're not gonna start at zero.
Yeah,
We had this conversation with our board of finance.
Correct, yeah.
See what our bandwidth is to start working on this.
Yep. So I just haven't reached out to her since that meeting yet, because they, business office is there on Fridays, but this building was closed, and I didn't have a chance to today, so. But that, yeah, it's very important.
Done that.
Huh?
You done?
Yeah, you can kill that now, unless anybody else has any questions. This is already on the website, as is all of the data you have from you, budgets. The debt servicing, so the community has access to it. And we'll just keep on getting the word out. All right. Also, move on. Let's move on. All business, due diligence, coordination, and potential new site. So what's not printed in your packets, but I did send them to you separately, was the final purchase and sale agreement. So you have that was executed. You have it for your records. I didn't print it tonight in the interest of saving some trees. But that is as discussed and approved. And they'll continue working on that prior to actually any final purchase, assuming the referendum passes, so they'll keep negotiating. Geotechnical report, you guys also received that separately. We've discussed that, it confirms, I think you guys will speak to it, but it confirms, that the site is adequate and appropriate and
Yeah,
generally anticipated to be able to support, a project of this size.
yeah, it doesn't anticipate any special foundation systems, typical spread footings, structural fill. Nothing out of the ordinary, didn't encounter anything of concern, so good news.
So we will obviously do more of that, upon the successful referendum and, really early due diligence. Additional geotechnical, additional septic, I'd imagine, or septic valuation, traffic, yeah, that'll be a part of it too. I'm sure there'll be a traffic study. What else would we be looking at typically for due diligence?
No, you'll do a full survey, boundary A 2 T2, probably once the land is cleared, you make
Yeah.
an early package to kind of clear some of the land there.
Traffic, anything else?
Traffic,
Really,
Chief.
stick-
once we get a little bit more comfortable with the exact placement of the building, obviously more focused, another round of borings, just so we can have some comfort with the classification of the soils and the elevation, the general elevation of potential bedrock that they would be encountering. I mean, the depths are kind of all over the place, but reasonably deep.
You'd probably drill a test well for geothermal,
Yeah.
for design.
Ideally, you want to be comfortable with where the location of your well field is, so you can utilize that well in the permanent well configuration. So,
So lots to do, but nothing. In that initial report that is of any concern.
Then after the referendum?
Yeah, we
Okay.
That, and it'll be reimbursable, or those costs will be
Yes,
reimbursable
Yeah.
for the project as well, so that's the other advantage.
yeah, and a lot of those components will be, geotech, you want that to be under your design professionals contract, so they own geotech, and it's all coordinated under their umbrella, so.
That is your update on those, so you guys have them, I don't think there's any other due diligence we're waiting for currently, right? So I think we're basically full steam, the referendum. Okay. All right, moving right along, communications and community engagement. Correspondence, you have a packet of emails. Also an additional just letter that, Superintendent Stevens, that Phil received from, Connecticut Administrative Services, that basically affirming our legislation directly to us, the legislation that was captured. At least that's what it sounds like to me, Bill. Yeah, so, but here, this is letting you know, here's the legislation that passed. So you have it for your records. We got some emails and some follow-ups. But you have them, that's everything that came in to the town email. All right. September 2nd, community conversation event. Next up, discussion and planning. So. I think when we last spoke, TechCon team, we were talking about potentially having an outline.
Yeah,
Do you-
we've drafted a slide deck. Sure. You can screen share it as you would like, or you can just roughly talk through the outline in concept so that we understand the buckets and topics that we would like to cover. Up to you, how you'd like to proceed.
I mean, this is our chance before that event to discuss it with the community, so, if you're comfortable. sharing my thoughts, by all means.
Sending a request to screen share.
While they're working on that, so this is at the Hall School Gym, this is, let's focus specifically on what the presentation, but the expectation is this is going to be kind of a presentation led by the Tecton team. Will jump in, couple of, Bill, we talked about this in the working group, but a couple of you are helping set up and prep that space for this. So the question became, I think we'll want the committee at a table. I'll probably call it as a meeting. I think that's, if you guys feel, we can do it one of two ways. We can just have the Tecton team and myself and Mike. Probably Superintendent Stevens and Mike at the table, or we can all be up there. Which I think is probably a better idea. If only for sure unity. So. You guys.
We get elected in also.
I don't think so. I mean, there obviously be there in attendance. We'll have Mike as the first selectman and at the fact that member of this committee. This is really the opportunity for our team, really. Yeah, like I'm not expecting us to speak. We'll answer questions. I'll be able to kind of field them. But it's really their opportunity. I just think, you know, I think it's a good idea for the committee to be up there. If you guys agree, we'll head that way. We talked about questions. People can, during the presentation, they can write their questions, and then come up following the presentation and ask them. This way we can check them in, rather than trying to find people random in the audience. Gives us the ability to get their names for the record and everything as well. If that works for you guys. I think
So
so.
they're gonna write it and hand it to someone. Is that what I just heard you say?
Yeah, or they can write it, well, that's
We
a
don't-
good question.
We
Let's figure it out.
don't need another podium if that's the case, which is better. They could just write out their question, put their name on it and hand it to a runner. My assistant Brianna will be there and she's gonna man the chat.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry, that's a good point. I think, sorry, I kind of misinterpreted that.
But
No, that's a good clarification. So the idea being they can sign in if they want to ask a question, then we just call them off a list. Or we can have them write their questions down in advance, which might be more cumbersome and very dynamic.
Yeah, I think they will, I think they have a chance to speak.
So,
live on Zoom in the gym is sport.
Yeah.
So the thought process was. I can have her man the chat. And anybody who puts a question in the chat, she can take their name, she can take the question. And we can pass it off to be read aloud and the answer can be done. Here in the room, there can be a photo. If you picture like when we have a play. And we've got the three seating sections of chairs and the bleachers open, that's the concept. Committee would be front left, tables. That crew over there would be closer to the middle. And then the podium would be on the far side. Then anybody that wanted to ask a question that was there in person could walk to the podium and ask their question.
What is the issue with the gym? Is it that you don't have the audio from the computer to the speaker?
It's so to get really good sound, we're gonna have to put that speaker basically just like we did in the other community conversation, directly pointing at the owl and close to it. So it picks that up, otherwise.
It's just the owl not picking up is the problem.
And well, otherwise, anybody sitting online is not gonna hear anything. We're just not set up for that. This is a rig that works. So if we put a speaker that's by the owl, whoever talks has to be talking to a microphone. Otherwise, all the people online will not hear you. But for them online to speak to the committee is another layer.
I have a Bluetooth module that'll plug in your speaker and you could pair it to your computer, it's food for thought.
We have done all sorts of test things and none are clean.
So the building school should work on audio.
But that's the other advantage, having people come up and ask their questions, you know, from a list rather than trying to feed a mic.
So you're saying the people on Zoom would put their question in the chat and then it will get read off?
Yeah.
Via something.
That's the thought process. You're giving them access to the meeting. They can still ask their questions. It's just that they're not going to come live on Zoom and meaning they're not going to say their question. It's got to be chat.
There's no way the owl has an auxiliary output for speakers.
If you
You know,
watch this the first time around in the gym, we got loads of negative feedback. We are not set up for this type of system
in the gym.
in the gym.
We'll also wind up being like the Wizard of Oz head in the background, you know, on the screen, speaking large and in charge through the projection.
We will have a full projector up there. The
Yeah.
full projector screen will be down, so they care, you know, you can see it really well. It's just the Zoom aspect adds a layer that really complicates the tech side of the setup.
You talked about bleachers, Phil, like. We should talk about seating, and preference would be to not have them in bleachers.
Overflow. I don't have enough chairs.
You don't have enough chairs. Okay,
No,
well, that
we
would be a
probably
good
can
thing.
Get 100 chairs. Like we do for the number of chairs we have for shows, we'll
Yeah.
put out all of the band
That's
chairs.
more than 100.
It's, we don't have a ton of chairs.
All right.
We will
This
put out
seems like a
all
lot,
the
right?
folding chairs. We will put them as many of the folding chairs we have out.
Okay,
And I think most people will sit there. You'll be closer to the people speaking. It'll be the overflow is the features.
all right. Yeah, we just want people close and engaging. But yeah, if that's the limitation, then I guess people,
How are we doing audio in the board?
couple of mics.
One mic.
One mic, we don't have multiple mics you can use.
As long as you are talking about a school that failed a referendum 4 times.
I'm just asking, you know.
We don't
want it
have
center?
that.
Yeah, in the center you can borrow?
No, we could use the stage mics, but it's not clean and you're not
Right.
gonna get. That means all of those stage mics are coming off the speaker up on the wall.
Okay.
Now it's not gonna connect to the owl. It's not gonna know who's speaking. It's really, really challenging. You have to put a speaker on the floor that's gonna go directly to the owl.
So how are we gonna manage question and responses? We gotta have one little mic in that room.
The mic will be on the stand. So you might not see that person, but you'll be able to hear them. And you're probably gonna have to repeat the question. And you're gonna be on Zoom.
Need 2 mics at least.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's, okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to.
Yeah, the second
Have
mic
one,
is
going out and-
you or a team whoever's speaking.
Yeah.
And then the second mic is, and we can have those 2 mics active during the presentation. Once we go to questions, one would be at the podium.
That's fine, as long as we were trying to just juggle one mic, because
We have been working on this. It's,
Yeah.
I have a question. When we have our new gymnasium, will we have the technology to do something like this?
Yes.
Yes.
You're nodding. Thank you. There we go.
Excellent question. Bill, any other logistics since you took the lead on setting that?
so that's the gym space. Childcare will be in the cafeteria. We have, the rec department has their director of the camp, the assistant director of the camp. And I think one of their counselors and then my elementary school principal will be there as well. So we're gonna put out our card pretty quickly here, with the RSVP on it, so we can see how many people are interested in that. That's the plan. We'll have pizza.
Do you need help setting up the day before?
No, my custodial kid will do it and my music guy we'll test out the microphones and I'll probably call Jim and say, hey, jump on a Zoom and can you hear us okay? We'll do all that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We'll definitely test this one.
Yeah, we tested last time too.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the echo in the room. It's really hard. Of course.
Thank you for working and coordinating through all that stuff, Phil. Much appreciated. We will coordinate logistics with you as well, and I have a note here. For other consideration, for new funding improvements to things like pizza. So we'll talk about that in a bit. I'll let you guys kind of. You want to talk through?
Sure, yeah.
We'll jump to you since I think we got logistics covered.
So,
Initially.
we're gonna stay in tile mode just so that we get a
Yeah,
sense of the overall flow of the deck. But if we'd like, after we go through it, to zoom into any slides, just let us know.
Lisa, if you wanna kill the participants view, I'll keep it on my computer. Sorry. Yeah, no, you go.
Yeah. So the flow of the deck, we held space at the top for any opening remarks. Then we thought we could move into a recap of the polling, just to set the background for the recent events and the selected option from a community perspective. The process that we went through overall, just high level about why the project is being studied, what the project entails, and then who has been involved. So just setting the table with those, with that background information, and then really jumping very quickly into the selected project option and spending most of our time in this portion of the presentation. These plans have been shared previously, so folks that have been following along, it's the same graphics, it's the same plan. So that familiar territory will help folks that have been seeing it before. So just zooming into all the different areas of the new site connected to the existing Hall Memorial property, and talking through the logistics of the new school in that portion of the site, the opportunities for the community recreation, et cetera. So we'll go through each of those different areas zoomed into the site itself. We can talk about floor plan and speak to the educational model with the consolidated pre-K to 8 school and those small learning communities, and then get into costs, so the overall reimbursement and how that breaks down in terms of the base reimbursement and those multiple 15% additives that get us to the 94.58. We have a slide following that just about scope and benefits and challenges. And then we pulled the graphics that we were just discussing so that the community will have that mailer, they'll see it here, it'll be on the website, and we can have a conversation around that. Those cost models on slide 18, and then go through the repair option that has the cost associated with that correlated to some of today's dollars. So we wanted to keep it short and sweet to really allow maximum amount of time for the community to ask their questions and focus in on this selected option. So we've kept it pretty limited. Yeah, closing thank yous into the upcoming events so that folks know what to look for next on their channel.
I think, you guys do this up in PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so we may give you slides on the budget stuff that, yeah, time willing, that maybe walk through the steps of what that impact is in a here's a bunch, and better than here's a bunch of numbers graphic. So we can kind of break it down and walk through the process, similar to the discussion at a Board of Finance. So I will try to think through that. I haven't used PowerPoint in a very long time, but I will try to figure that one out.
If you need help, let me know.
I will.
You use it, you don't use PowerPoint.
I use Bluebeam. I like that
Presentation.
Yeah, do the. That's what I do. I'm sure, I also, we have a marketing team, so I a lot of that to begin with. This is great, I think. So the expectation is soon after this, we'll want to share this deck. So I just want to make sure that even if it's just high level bullets, I think it would be a good idea to get. If it's not on here, and if it's a conversation point talking to a slide, we should make sure that that info is somewhere. For posterity. I don't know, going back through this, I'm not sure which slides or what the talking points, but even on the building program, like if there's key bullets you want, I think there should be a slide kind of documenting what you're highlighting for posterity, so that people, because not everybody's going to go look at the video for 3 hours. Again, it's just not the way this works. Some will, many won't. So a slide deck will be a quick reference point.
I think slide 16 under challenges probably needs to be updated because you've negotiated or signed land purchase agreement, so land acquisition failure is really tied into the overall project referendum, so that's not a
Yeah.
challenge anymore. We've identified the land, we have an agreement in place.
Wow.
So you probably want to take that off, and then possible higher cost due to site acquisition and site development is a challenge. The overall cost, the news were cheaper than the renovation, and both of the new options were very similar, so I'm not sure that that's even, we've developed a budget, I'm not sure that's a challenge you want to list on here anymore.
A good point.
The challenge would be the higher price, but we've already budgeted for the higher price of the land, right? So it's not a challenge.
Right, the budget's in, it was very similar to the cost of the building on the existing site because of the logistical challenges, so that those both new projects were very similar, and both were cheaper than renovation. So I'm not sure that that's really a challenge you want to list.
It's in the plan, right?
Yeah,
Not a challenge.
budget, no, it's not challenging, it's,
That was our job to work through it, and it was strong, we did, so. The other thing before I forget, we should probably have slides related to preserving the hall legacy in this as well, please. Similar to the comment from Mr. Toulis earlier today, but just, I definitely like to make sure that we're making that a priority, because it is a priority.
Can we get photos to Tecton of the plaques and pillars that? So they can maybe include them in the slide? I think that's good.
yeah.
I think it can't hurt, we'll see, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what we know, and obviously the conversations will continue.
Test this presentation with the projection system so we can actually see it, we can see the stuff. It's, I don't know. I just actually go Zoom on the computer. Yeah, but people who are in the auditorium there, will they able to see it in the projector? I mean,
Will you be able to send this in advance to us, meaning like
or
not,
at least a draft.
not today, but yeah, when you're set up in the gym.
It's a monster screen, it's not like not that.
No.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine, but
But you give them the fonts and stuff just to
Yeah,
test. I think
Is it a screen or a projector?
well, it's coming off the projectors out there, but it's the big screen, it's the same one we use for anybody that's been at the motion ceremony or.
And I would imagine they could zoom in if people couldn't say, they could zoom in with their. Whatever.
I can see, because your smallest font is probably gonna be the what,
That mail.
the money, right?
Money one, yeah, that's an important one to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So if I'll put that on screen just once we set up, just to see what it looks like.
but that's also like, I'm hoping to do something in PowerPoint where we can blow up portions of this, describe the process and like, have it be a blow up.
We have paper copies too.
Yeah, the important documents, like the budget and stuff.
That's a good point, we should have handouts at this time.
That's what I was gonna ask next too. What are the handouts if it's not the full presentation? What are the comments that you would want there?
Let's think through that. I don't wanna commit to anything.
Yeah,
I definitely the financial stuff, I think will be important, the one page, just something that people can take and have in front of them while they're developing their questions. I don't necessarily think it needs to be the whole slide deck, because that's,
We can't find why shouldn't we? Now that the people maybe not concentrating what they're saying, looking through it.
volume paper,
A lot of
it's a lot.
I think the important things are the budgetary.
Yeah.
Ones, I mean, that's what everyone who's been paying
I would say
attention
the
to.
budgetary, the concept.
Yeah.
You know,
the 94.
Plans, some of the.
well, I would go like the one,
Yeah,
two,
this is the stuff we
three,
sent the
4,
planning
5,
and zoning and board of finance, basically.
like those first 6 or 8 screens I can't. The ones that the first 2 rows should be there, stop it and then do the financials.
Yeah,
We can try to reduce it as much as possible, but.
I think as clear a explanation as possible about the reimbursement is important, so they realize.
yeah, we want to highlight that, which you talked about, which is good, break it down,
If we
okay.
are concerned about the logistics of printing out the whole thing, then I think, a direct link on the core of the base page that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's been recent discussions on the classrooms to go from a certain, population up to the 519. I think we said it might reduce, I think, Phil, I think by like 4 classrooms.
Yep.
I didn't know if you're prepared to discuss that. I mean, again, we've talked, we said it's probably, $1,000 a square foot, 4,000, 4 million, 95%. It's probably, 250, 300,000 cost to the district total for those extra classrooms. So I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
if you
a
wanted to
good point.
address it. That
We should address that as well. What would be helpful, I think, would be a comparison of this building versus what we have now. Meaning, the building area is 101,000 versus the 100 and change we have now. The number of instructional spaces Phil had worked out, and I
Think you took it, so.
I do have it. I will hand it to you. But I think we actually have an instructional space or two fewer than what we currently have now. The difference is that they are appropriately sized. And we're not counting a 300 square foot classroom at all as an appropriate classroom, because that is ridiculous. So that is a lot of the differentiator. So I think if we could come up with a concise way of saying, yeah, here's what we have now, this is what we're proposing, and showing that even when, or if and when we hit a 519 enrollment, that it is designed to accommodate it, because adequately sized classrooms can more easily flex to accommodate a higher enrollment in a small district if they're appropriately sized without adding additional classroom or number of classrooms, which I think is where we're at. 50 flex is 20 per classroom without
distance.
Yeah.
That's a chart.
without adding any additional classroom.
And one example is this past school year, we had a large number of 4th graders. And we did not have a classroom for a 4th grade. So we had 3 4th grade teachers to increase the student to staff ratio, but in taking place in 2 classrooms. So that's an example of how now we don't have the space that we really need.
And so I think let's work through that offline and figure out a way of precisely, because you guys are familiar with the ed specs. Probably more so than I am at this point, but yeah, I think that'll be an important piece of this too. It's just showing that this is really right sized. And the other important thing to note, Will, I mean, the Board of Ed developed these ed specs before we had the space waiver concern.
Yeah.
Right, so this was
Right.
done as conservatively as possible.
Right.
Because we thought every square foot over what the state would allow without that special legislation. There's been a reduction in what added costs to the town, so it was done pretty tight, which I'm sure you guys can attest to. So. Excellent point, Scott. Thank you. Anything else you guys think we need to highlight, or? My concern, it's not a concern, it's to make sure that we're cognizant as we go through this, we're gonna get a bunch of people that are just coming into this process for the first time. Right, so while we're also gonna get a bunch of people that have been following along every step of the way. So. I wanna make sure we're not missing a step for the initiated that is just coming and really getting engaged now that we're closer to. The town having actually come to a consensus and decision. So is there anything you guys think beyond talked about? Or if you think of anything else, you don't have it right here. Send it along so that we can discuss getting it. I think. You got the stuff on the, yeah, you had a whole slide deck about the cost for the failed referendum.
Yes,
Okay.
we have, yes, slides 20 through 25.
We have any cost data, I know we do, but from the previous project, to show this is very different.
We do.
I know I don't wanna dig it, there's a lot of.
Why do we go back?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm just, because it's very different, and it's not just rehashing the same thing again, it's a very different project. Cost savings, the tax impacts. Very,
I think if you were gonna focus on one thing and keep it simple, it would be the reimbursement rate.
Right.
Well, we had that as well.
From,
Right,
yes,
Scott, we were
Yeah.
Yeah.
55 range last time.
Yeah.
We're 40% higher without getting into an actual cost or talking about square footage or impact of that. You just said, look at the last failed referendum. We had a 55, and I'm making that number up. I don't remember exactly what it was. But if you said it was 55%, right? We didn't know, right? You know,
Yeah, with and without the space waiver, and then, the cost of town is another important, like it was 30-something $million
Yeah.
across the town last time, I remember correctly.
just some comparative information, yeah.
Yeah.
The other point that you can make with that is that I believe that was like a $60 million project compared to our price today, and that's time. That's the increase of the price over time.
Yeah.
And if we defer this again, over another period of time, the cost will continue to escalate.
Yeah, it was a $60.6 million project and your estimated state funding. It was with a waiver and.
Well, let's go without the waiver for starters.
Yeah,
Well, it's.
funding without waiver was 40.83%.
Yeah. Very.
So that's important to share,
Yeah.
to show that that's different.
Yeah, it was 36, just over $36 million cost to the town. Versus 9.
Yeah.
So 400% reduction.
Right, Bell, maybe we should highlight the 2027 deadline. For our.
That beat me to it. If that, I don't know, that might be in your, that's probably good for the upfront percent.
Yeah.
This is how we get to the percent reimbursement slide, just make sure it's a highlight saying this goes away and, that's also probably a good point where we can talk about the 40% reimbursement prior to what we have now.
Is there a slide up there on the land acquisition, like how we settled on this particular? On these particular parcels, I think if people are new to the conversation, they're gonna show up with questions about the land just based on. Remnants of conversations that could still be developed from the last time.
That's a good point.
Different set.
That goes to my, comment about having the bullets on there as well. So I think there's probably, a site, like a site feature or.
We can put a stat slide maybe right after the selected project option. Just say, we looked at X number of sites. They were rolled out because of X, Y, and Z, and we.
I think that's important. I think it's also, I think we want to bullet some of the key favorables.
I mean, your
Yes, the fact that-
response on the correspondence.
Oh, yeah, we did get a question about that in email. I'll send you the response.
Okay, thank you.
You made some good points in there. I mean, I just am thinking of people joining now. Such an overwhelming, it was a topic of overwhelming conversation.
But things like it makes the whole property eligible for reimbursement, has access to public utilities, it has access off of the state road, it has things like that. Which are all
Yeah.
discussed and part of the consideration of pursuing this wanted or.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that going back to the same thought process. One of the big questions we still are seeing is well, how are you gonna turn the building back to hall?
Right.
Own it, right? I think we need to reiterate again that piece in there, that the town is the property, then town does own Hall School. And that we will still maintain, the property will maintain the hall legacy municipal still.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we
Introduce design to the fact that we're gonna design it to honor.
I think. This is probably the appropriate time to make sure that we go back through Scott. Colliers have prepared kind of a summer report at the end of the last committee's work. I think we go through and make sure that we're addressing any of those. Items that were identified in that report. It's been I haven't read it since we started this process many months ago, but I think there's. We've addressed, I'm pretty sure we've addressed everything in that report. That was a holdover just through our work, but. I think we want to make sure that we have a slide speaking directly to. That we're addressing each of the. Issues that might have resulted in a failed referendum. And how we've addressed them in this work. I think that's a great point. I will. Probably, I believe it's up on the website somewhere, but I will find it again, because I think it's gonna be. But yeah, I think that's a good point for us to all check.
You're referring to final report, fire.
From the fire, yeah, the other committee, there was a report at the end of that work that the committee did, but I think there might have been an appendix that. I don't know, the committee did a report. And I think Collier's was an appendix. Collier's did their own summary as well that was attached as. At any rate, I think we,
definitely.
yeah,
Okay. I'm just, the dollars. Yes, and the Collier's executive summaries there. Do you want to just send it to the board me right now?
yes, please.
Is that the 7/12/23? I was just looking at it now. That's. Don't you have, Phil?
Ironically, this is not dated. It says, no, actually, no, it says report to the selectmen November 23.
That's the committee's report. I think you
Yeah,
had.
I've got one from July 12/23 that, yes,
So you're talking about your executive summary?
my executive summary,
July 12th, 2023.
yes.
Okay,
That's the date of yours, yeah.
Yep.
yeah, please send that, though, just so everybody has it up fresh in their feeds.
So I know we just added slides, how long is that? You think it's gonna take to go through that and whatever we added? Cause I think we gotta leave ample time. For, I know it's 3 hours, but if that takes an hour and a half, that's not ample time for the public.
We should not be talking for an hour and a half.
Right, no, exactly, well, that's my point.
It shouldn't take. To get through the July phase. I know the slide quantities sometimes appear daunting, but 30 seconds on a slide is actually a long time when you're presenting. So
Okay.
obviously, there are gonna be slides that have a little bit more detail that you may spend a minute and a half on. But there are transition slides that are within this quantity. What are we at? 27 slides. By my count, 1, 2, 3, 4. We might be adding 5 or 6 slides here. So we're still gonna be in the 30.
Half hour to 45 minutes.
I would say half hour.
That's
Right, that's,
yeah.
that's why I'm asking the question.
I'm telling you.
Let's bring it, can we bring it up in presentation view and just do a quick run through and then see what we.
I don't think we're ready for that just yet.
But
Yeah, if we can add the other slides, that might help fill the story out a little bit, if that works for you.
Say that again.
Before we go slide by slide, if we add the slides we've discussed today, that will, I think, fill
Yeah,
the
so
storyline.
let's take a look at what we talked about tonight, get it in there. If you guys could send along a draft.
Sure.
Like by the end of the week, so that the committee has time to.
I mean, there's a lot on the break fix. That
We could,
there's like 6 or 7.
well, and the only reason I'm saying it is because there are gonna be slides like that and stuff we're gonna wanna.
Well, I think that's gonna be a little longer. Right,
If, that's what I'm saying. I think 30 is gonna be, we can try for 30. I suspect it's gonna be closer to 45 when all is said and done.
that's my fear.
And that gives us 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I don't think that's enough time. I really don't think that's enough time.
you got 50 people speaking, they're 10 minutes apiece or even 5 minutes apiece. A lot of time.
I'm sure you need to plan
Exactly what I'm
slides. To presenting the budget, I think you could cut the 2 play, you're presenting the site as a concept, here's the building and square
Agreed.
footage. I don't think you need to get into a concept plan, because it's gonna change. So there's 2 slides, 12 and 13, I think you could get rid of.
Start with.
You know what I mean? I can't see what the slides
Let's-
really are.
I'd leave those in as, because there are gonna be people that are concerned that we wanna be able to answer the question of moving to a BK 38 model too.
Sure.
Uh,
You put them after this Q&A too, if you wanted to.
that's, yeah, so
Another option.
I wouldn't say get rid of them yet. I think let's let's see where we're at, and all of a sudden done, we have a better comprehensive
Well, like
picture.
the appendix slide, so if we ask these questions, here you go.
Well, that's a key tactic. You just stick stuff at the end of the thank you slide, and if you need to, so it's available, if you need to refer to it, you can bring it up on screen.
Yeah.
You may do a lot of that with some of this, if it looks like.
I think
Yeah.
anticipated.
Thank you very much. Definitely try to shoot for 30 minutes, max.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Very,
yeah, so you have to-
I'd rather have somebody in the crowd or, you know, the crowd be able to ask the question and refer to a slide than waste the time talking about it when they're gonna ask the question anyways, right?
I would agree.
I think having that community engagement with.
It's more important than
Agreed.
The event went out.
Huh?
That's how the event went at whole library. Like,
Yeah,
so people had so many questions, which was great. And it was regurgitating a lot of what was.
Right, they have.
Which is
to
great, that's fine.
share if need be.
so, hey, we'll have to do a good job of making sure, my only concern is making sure that it doesn't feel like we're rushing it or not showing a comprehensive picture, that it doesn't appear that it's fresh, because it definitely wasn't. But I don't wanna feel like we're flying through things that people are left confused, which is why we gotta just find the right balance.
How many slides do we have at the library? About the same amount,
Oh, gosh. I'll have to check. I don't remember off the top of my head,
but
but
that was smooth.
yeah, it was probably
That was
more
over
than
an hour.
30. I'd be willing
It
to.
was like an hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Presentation.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
yes, it was.
Because they only had,
Yeah.
because the audience only had 45 minutes and we ran over
Yeah.
20 minutes to keep going.
Yeah, I had to keep at the community center a little faster, but
Yeah,
because I had to keep,
oh, that's me.
you know, but.
These guys will do a better job than I did at the senior center, but not that I did bad.
I think it's better, like to Adam's point, is that we have minimal slides with the critical data. And we have an appendix or something that has the data that we can, when someone asks a question, you know, we had a detail there, here it is, you bring it up, see it, boom, done.
And the questions could clarify.
Right, and
To
it-
clarify.
they have specific something, then it gets answered.
I think when you're building a presentation, your whole idea is to present the information, so there's minimal questions, but I think no matter how many times we present the information. The questions are still happening, so I just think public engagement of this is the main thing, right? So. We could stick to 30 minutes. We don't have to share beat a dead horse, but if we can stick to 30 minutes, it's probably the best bet.
The last community conversation was 28 slides.
And it took an hour, 15 minutes.
We get questions along the way. during the presentation.
That's a good point.
Strategy that we might want to use, hold the questions till the end, and that way.
Yes, but this,
You would be
yes,
more true to what you're actually saying.
we can set that stage early, say, you know, we're gonna
We keep it small, we can print it out, so. I mean, it's 20 pages, 200 people, is that like? Plus the cost of paper.
That makes sense.
I think this is great. Thank you for a good first start. We can obviously discuss this over the coming days as well. If you guys have any questions, we owe you some information about. We'll probably owe you some information that I typed in here and now I can't find. About the prior costs, although that can be easily found. And just making sure some of the prior report stuff is covered, but we'll workshop that between now and the end of the week.
Well, I can send you that cost summary page, similar to the one we have now. So I can send that to you, and Jim, I'll provide a high level bulleted. How we went back, revisited all the sites we reviewed from the last time, with the committee identified a few additional, shortlisted to 16, brought that down to 4. So I'll put together a bulleted, just real quick. Process on the land valuation. I'll get that too.
You know what might be meaningful in that slide is also the cost of renovations. So if we don't,
Yeah,
if we renovate, maybe.
they have several slides related to that study that they did that talked about.
Showing the lower reimbursement.
Sure, what happens if a referendum fails?
Yeah.
Yep. Those we pulled from, I think, the
Right.
end of July,
Yeah.
that same event, so it's the same information.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. If anybody else thinks anything else, shoot your questions out our way, or my way, and I'll make sure the TechCom team gets it. And then by the end of the week, hopefully we'll have something and at the next pass and we can beat it up again ahead of the event. Although I think this is very helpful in kind of getting to the right spot, so thank you guys. All right. Want to talk about Mallard now?
What about signs for the event?
Let's talk about other, yeah, let's,
Mailers first? Okay.
all right, let's do the mailers and then we'll talk about all the other needs that have come up in the last week or two. So first off, we have, this was already worked through, obviously, front and back. You just have a copy of it. It is ready to be picked up, and it sounds like Jeremy, thank you, is able to go grab that tomorrow.
Yep.
From the printer, and then Lisa, you are coordinating with Jeremy about getting it to the post office?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'll grab her, I'll let her know where I am, and what time, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
If it's not available, I can come here and then go back to town.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. They were really quick this time around, and we ordered it. I think I officially ordered it on Wednesday, and you got the email today that they were ready, so that's really fast for them. So they're getting a hang of it, which is good, because we gotta talk about another mailing. So we have time, I think, to probably get one more in. Probably after the community conversation, or it'll be time for after the community conversation event. We want to make sure it gets out before town meeting, obviously, and if people know boxes, so that it's not, there's no question. So it should be released right around the time of the community conversation event, and I think it will probably, the initial thinking is to have it be this is what this means for you. Like cost impact, based on maybe the average household numbers or something like that. Again, I don't think we have that information yet, but we'll hopefully have something like that, potentially for the community conversation that we can then draw on and pull together pretty quickly, but it'll be the key dates. Again, just reiterating, public hearing, town meeting, potentially public hearing. We may not get this out in time, but public hearing, town meeting, and referendum projected again, just as these are important. These come out. Highline budget summary, and here's what this tax impact means to you. That is the outline for that. How do you guys feel about
What's the date trying to get this out?
before the
Or September.
preferably before September 8th, which means we're basically
You got,
printing it.
you got Labor Day on 7th, right?
The draw, it needs to be out the week before the 15th at minimum. So if it doesn't make the public hearing, that's
So
fine.
you're really talking like the 3rd,
Yeah, I mean,
hitting the post office in the 3rd, so they're hitting the 5th and 6th out at mailboxes.
well, once you drop them off at the post office, they should go out the next day.
So we don't have to be 3, sure.
And I'm not convinced they're gonna be able to get out before the public hearing, but they're definitely gonna wanna be out before the town meeting. I think it's just another touch point to let people get out.
So if we don't get them out by the public hearing, again, I hate to do the heck on, but if we have just like when we're doing a Q&A for that, we just have that date on the screen. During the Q&A.
Sorry, I lost you.
Yeah, second.
Yeah.
When we do on the 2nd, we just put that date on the screen, like when we're doing question and answers.
Yeah, they have a slide for that as well.
Right, just have it there so everybody sees it all the time if we're doing question and answer, that we don't have to go back to a slide for.
And there's a fun mailer that's coming out.
We
They
can't
have-
Well, again-
around the time, so it's always.
How-
Well, for town meeting or referendum.
We already-
Just cut it off before town
Definitely
meeting.
need.
We don't think we're gonna get this out.
No, that's the next one.
The next one,
Okay.
This is going out tomorrow.
sorry. Okay, tomorrow. I'm picking this up tomorrow.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, we're talking about the next one, about this date,
We
not
would have
meaning,
to finish
meaning
that
hit mailbox.
within a week.
Well, and that's my concern. I don't, that's why I say I'm not sure that's gonna be turned around in time to get printed before, like, where it can be
I mean, and we have
definitively
to
before public hearing.
should have like a week to get it to.
Should we wait and just do the one for the referendum?
No, the town meeting and referendum.
That is the
Are
one.
we gonna get that out for the town meeting?
Well,
Yeah,
we have
Town
no
meeting
problem getting it
September
after
15th,
town
yeah,
meeting.
we can do that, not the public hearing.
I don't think it's gonna make it after the public hearing. It might, but I don't think the next mail will be out before public hearings, but that's why. This one also highlights the public hearing date on it,
Great, and the other two are tentatives. So that's why it's,
and they're gonna still be tentatives unless it goes out after the public hearing, because they're not setting the date of the town meeting until that public hearing. So,
We need to get it by Friday, though.
and that's still not enough time to get that mailer out. They've set town meeting on September 8th. To get another mailer.
correct, it's gonna be tentative, it has to be, because we're not gonna have that information, it's not gonna be confirmed by the selectmen until. They meet,
No, it's 8th.
it's just the process and how it works.
Right,
When
Yeah,
can we
but
not
that's
have
right.
like that? Have a backup here?
Once that town meeting, we can't expend any town fund, any funds, public funds on. The promotion or discussion of this process.
So yeah, after the 15th, you can do it before. Not
I
after.
can mail it up to the
Yeah.
15th.
Yes, I would prefer to get it in people's hands a couple of days before the 15th, that drop dead.
So yeah, like,
Yeah, we have time for one more, which is why, I'm less concerned about the dates, I think, like. It'll be a reminder on the dates and that'll be out for public discussion and we'll have it up on the website.
I just really hate, well, so we could really have, if they set the town meeting on the 8th and we send it to them. And just. On. 9th, 10th, 12th, yeah, the 12th to 10th, right? No, they need a week, you said, right?
You really need that mailer true hopefully by the end of this week.
That's what I'm saying.
The holidays is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we,
So-
we're trying to get one for the.
So-
So,
I think we should focus a little less on the dates and more on, the content of what we're trying to say.
I think
What's gonna go on this?
What's gonna be, I guess we'll have the dates listed again, just as a hit you in the face for the fifth reminder. But I think we wanna, if you guys are okay, I think it's the, here's what this means for your.
Yeah.
Wallet, basically, like here's the budget, here's the impact, that's what we highlight on this.
Yeah.
we still probably holding out. Won't be time in this. Get the mailer done. Yeah.
When can the town
We'll find
meeting
a phone.
be? Yes.
The 15th,
When can it be, can it be another day?
the 15th,
Is it,
the 15th,
that's the only option?
without pushing the referendum, the 15th.
All legal dates.
We
All
might,
good stuff.
it might be able to be the 14th through the 16th, but. It's gotta be.
Cause I hate to see the next mailer say tentative for the town meeting. I really hate to see that.
Who has
Yeah,
already said it?
There's,
It'll be determined on.
the board of selectmen,
Is
That's
when
their
that, it will
Right.
be called
Right,
on the 8th, for sure.
yeah, or you want to be able to edit the flyer. if we want to.
Just ask them. What's anything gonna do?
they are gonna, at the public hearing, they have a meeting following the public hearing, that is when they set the date of the town meeting. If it's not the 15th, then that's their prerogative, they can decide that. It's not ready for the 15th, but that will change our referendum.
I see.
Will they also call the referendum date that night?
That will be officially set at town meeting.
Okay, so that'll still be tentative until after the town meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that'd be the only tentative thing. I just hate to see the town meeting not be
I
tentative.
mean, we can pull tentative off of it.
Yeah.
Just have it like.
Oh.
You all, I think-
Subject to change.
Just
Yeah.
put it out, just put out a flyer digitally that says. This is no longer tentative. Mailer can go out, if you wait until the 8th.
Yeah,
And then they print on the 9th. Getting them back and mailing them, you are pushing it to the end of the. towards
Yeah,
the
people
end.
aren't gonna get it, yeah, that's
We could just digitally send out things through the town, through Facebook, through schools that say. The date is no longer tentative for the town meeting, we can send that out ourselves just out on the 9th.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll say tentative on there, but
And the town will also publish the
all call, yeah.
back to your point, going off of how this is gonna impact you should be the.
Yeah.
Subject of
Definitely.
that.
On the backside.
All right, so we will work on developing that, which means this is always pretty fast.
So we need that preferably by the second. But at the latest.
Yeah, no, we'll have it by the second. I think reality is that it's probably gonna have to be printed next week. Doing something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do a spreadsheet.
It's really like a 2-week process from the time we release it to CNM to getting it back to mailing it out.
I think we've got, as long as we can pick it up, effectively, I think they can do it pretty quickly. I mean, we turned around from the point I sent it to them, we got it back in 4 business days,
So we're.
3 business days.
This time was like a week and a half where people will have it in advance, assuming nothing glitches. Waiting tomorrow.
So with that said, we're funding for Sid Mailer so that we can get it done. We've been doing 1,200, that has more than covered it. Assuming we're doing the same process. Then we want to make a motion for that. Others. If we're comfortable and thinking we want to do another round.
Do we want to do 1 or 2?
We don't have one more.
On top of what is Jeremy's been.
This is
Yeah,
our, yeah,
we've already been
this is
through.
done,
Sorry.
it's been approved, so it's one more mailing.
Okay, I will move that we, allocate $1,200 for our next mailer. To go out on.
You don't need to say one
We have to say that.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
That will be mailer number 6, final, number 6 and
Mailer
final.
number
mailer,
6.
right?
Huh?
And 6.
That will be 6, this was 5.
Oh,
A 5 is to up.
I reserve.
1.
Yep. All right. Lisa, willing to do roll calls for us?
Mr. Marshall
Yes.
and Mr. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Brothers,
Yes.
Ms. Eaton,
yes.
Ms. Grosjean,
Yes.
and Mr. Zelonis.
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
We need a motion for, snacks available.
I'm gonna try to cover this in one. So so there are a couple of things that we should consider for just other notifications. One, we probably want to do another round of yard signs. Preferably ahead of this community conversation event. Those can be turned around very quickly. If we want to do another one as well, that would be doing 2 sets, prior to town meeting or referendum that says.
It's a cost, how many.
So the cost the last time for 20 of those signs, is in your thing.
So
336,
336.81.
So for the sake of allowing us some flexibility, I'd say let's budget for 500 per mailer in case we want a couple of additional signs, but not per mailer, for run. It's just a matter of what we think we want to do.
That's the same size.
That's for the same side, yeah, we're getting there, Phil. So keep that in your mind, so 500 for a mailer run, for a yard sign run, just for the standard stuff. If we wanted a couple of boards or like A-frame type signs for the dump, or for one on Town Green, one at the school, on the 2 major roads, just that can have more information. So the little library has one out on the green now. Those are more expensive, and I had it up, but I get you that right now. It really depends on what we want to do. So my thought is, if we set a limit for signage of a certain dollar amount, we will work within that and get what we can. I just want to make sure it's enough to cover it. So for example, one of the, well, you can't see this, but basically a 24 by 36 A-frame, two-sided. Similar to what's out on the lawn now, Town Green. They will be $210 each.
I think vinyl sign stakes is way better use for money.
So we can also do that too. So those signs.
Do my favorite too.
So let's see, if we want, for example, just as a point of reference, 24, let's do. It's 36 by 48, that's not a sign. Let's do 24 by 36, for example, that sort of sign. Most common, they are $53 for a 24 by 36 yard sign like
I was
that.
thinking more like a 48 by 36 or like a 60. I mean, if you wanna have, so you can actually see the stuff going by.
We can do 48 by 72, they're $480 each.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Fine,
Yes,
like that.
that is exactly what I'm talking about.
And I paid $50
for all of us. Well, and that's what I'm trying to, that's like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get, we need to get a sense, I can give you a rough ballpark of what we should make the authorization for, and then we can just get it done.
Like the scout sign at the dump was like 60 some bucks plus tax. That
What
big
is it?
vinyl thing. It's a vinyl banner. with
Oh,
graphics.
you want like a vinyl printed banner?
Yeah,
How,
that's much, I think you're gonna get much more for your money for that.
so it is a 4x8, it's $110. Plus shipping, plus all that stuff, but in fact. Versus, what did I say the last one was?
210.
210.
Yeah, there's 6 spots.
We can,
I think we should approve a budget, and work within the budget. So if we approve a budget for a certain amount, and we work within that for the signs and for what we can get for signs outside of that, for the dump and everything. I don't know, I think we should, if we're spending money that's not effective, it's a waste. You wanna get a lit up sign through 174? No, I'm saying that if we're spending money on stuff that isn't effective, it's a waste of money.
so. I think we need the signage to be
What are we trying to achieve here?
designed better, those little signs are fine, we had too much information on it the last time. So if we wanna have that much information, it will need to be bigger, but I think there is a value in a smaller signs as well, and just, even if it's just a date. Community conversation, SBC community conversation, date. Dot,
You know, I will agree that the signs were too much information.
They
They
were.
were small
It was-
stores, it's not like 45 miles an hour. I mean, even right next to it. Like, what's the goal here? What are we trying to communicate and where? And then what's the appropriate thing for that?
So I think putting something out front of hall and putting something on the town green for a larger sign are really the only opportunities. Are probably our best bang for the buck from an impact standpoint. Can you guys think of anything else?
Dump.
And the dump, yeah, the dump.
Dump, ball, down
We
there.
need 3.
What about center? Center or town hall?
Hey, Tony, were you guys looking at, weather signs, weatherproof signs, those boards? We talked about that for the transfer station.
Yes, ARC can create those similar to the corrugated, they can print directly on the corrugated plastic, we can get a quote from them. But yeah, we know that that's a possible thing, their turnaround time for those is probably less than a week.
Can you ask about that tomorrow and follow up? Just
Yes.
that we have a,
Yes,
So
That's different.
that can be treated as reimbursable through them.
Those would be good at them. Right,
Yeah.
the other way is you're just really talking about dates.
Yeah, so I think the dump is like a detailed, here's the project, here's,
Yeah.
like,
yeah, a good size part.
And you most likely, if you pay for them with town funds, once the referendum is set, anything that's promoting the project. Except for something that says vote on this day, not
Has to
vote
be
yes.
down.
Correct,
Has to
yeah,
go
we'd have
down,
to pull.
okay.
Yeah, so this would be for people that come until town meeting, basically at the dump.
Already have about the new content up next to whatever this sign's gonna say.
We don't have anything really dedicated specific to this that we've had printed. We have a one.
Which
Not-
ones did
it's not up
we
to
use
date,
at
though.
the concerts? So Was there one that could be reused that was?
No, not really.
No,
What?
I think we just pick the size of the sign, the content, and move forward here.
All right.
You get 3 large signs, there's one for the school, one for the town green, and one for the transfer station.
Plus the board,
Plus the yard signs, or that's it, right?
the board, they were gonna do, right?
So we'll do boards for the dump, which will cover the dump. 2 larger signs, one for the green, one for hall, get the 2 main roads.
Yeah, the green, you should check to make sure.
There's no size limited. We can, I forgot Mike was not gonna be here tonight. I will ask that question. But we will get it as big as the sign.
What was the cost for the A-frame, maybe just for the town green? Was it like 3 or 400?
Yes, even if you do the double vinyl sign, you know, one for each side of the road, so you can see the point of direction.
Just, I think there's a size limitation for it there.
Yeah, I think it's like 24 by 36. or
Can we just ask the library or the town hall, if we can use their A-frame?
We tried that for the last one and it got nowhere. Mike was looking into it on what the town had availability for. I'm sure we can.
You wanna try and do that tomorrow, cause then I
We
can
can
have
try.
that information for Wednesday.
I think this is our meeting, so I think we should authorize some funding, whether it's,
You can still work within it and decide if,
what are you guys, 15 or 1,500 or 2,000? 2,000 good. I'm not saying we're gonna spend all of it by any means, but it gives us the ability to.
that should give us options.
and then also if we have some for tech fund too. Would that come out of that or was that?
I think the 10 grand should cover whatever we're
It,
doing.
it probably will, but Tecton, because we have a contract, we're reimbursables with them. It
A separate,
It's just,
would be separate.
In their invoice.
Yeah, will be in their invoicing. Similar to what's done all along, so. If you guys are comfortable, we'll make a motion for 2,000 for signage. And then we'll need, what do you think? What other costs do we may need for that? Might we need for the community conversation about the site pizza stuff?
Pizza plates.
$500 cover it.
Oh, I think so. You have a cost for the pizza, right? It was with this. Boss.
We'll see how many people would. Yeah.
8 sheet pizzas from Big Y is $12, so I mean.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do in this 2 motions, one for the community conversation funding, so we can try it separately. I'll move that we allocate $2,000 for, the acquiring, the printing of signage for notifications about upcoming events.
Second.
Does that work? All right, any further discussion? Hearing none. Lisa, just run it off.
Mr. Salonis,
yes.
Ms. Rochon,
yes,
Ms. Eaton,
Yes.
Mr. Brothers,
Yes.
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
and Mr. Brewer,
Yes.
and Mr. Marshall.
Yes,
Motion passed unanimously.
thank you. And I'll move that we allocate $500 for incidental expenses related to the community conversation event. Essentially, your pieces, so.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Printing, we can, well. That's a good call. First, let's get a second on the motion. Thank you, Pete. Discussion. We can print all this stuff in town if we need prints for this, or do you wanna?
If, I think so. I think if you're gonna print 6,000 copies, I think that could be a different story, but
Yeah,
if you're talking about, you know. 4 pages front and back.
a couple hundred copies.
I think it's.
Good. Are we good with 5? Good. All right, Lisa?
Everybody's in the room too, you can do it.
Oh, yeah, you're right, I can't, I'm so used to it,
I
'cause
know,
we're not all, we're
that's
all
why.
here. Let's, yeah, we're the 7 of us here, so let's do it that way, so all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any, that was unanimous, right?
Yeah.
So, no, there's an abstention, I saved you the effort, thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Can I come back to Scott's comment a minute ago just for a second?
Yeah.
I understand, Scott, that there can not be anything for advocacy. But I would think that a board at the transfer station could be designed just like it would be explanatory text. For approval, that would come through. If we could design a board that could remain at the transfer station following beyond the 15th, I think that would be something that would be worthwhile. So I'm just not sure, and I think it depends on, because it's factual, right? You're allowed to have factual information. It would have to be through probably the town clerk's office and attorneys, but it might be more powerful.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I would definitely, just to make sure that, somebody couldn't cause an issue.
Yep.
Absolutely have it reviewed by the clerk's office and by the town attorney. And if it was 100% factual and reviewed by them, then yes, I would.
Something to think about. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then it comes down, but just where you go printing something.
It's more, it'll be more notice like than it will informational, like so we can do that too. I'm just thinking there might be a value leading up to town meeting for like the full color, here's the site.
Plan,
Like
that's
plan.
what I was, right.
I'm not sure whether, I don't know what the rules are for that.
I think
in Black Hat.
it's super or additional,
I didn't,
I don't think that's a lot. I think Mike was saying something.
correct, I think that's the case too, but I think we can put a notice town meeting coming up, sign on behalf of the town that has whatever information on it.
I'll talk to the town clerk, because I disagree.
I don't know the rules on that, so.
Yeah, there's definitely information you're able to put out that is factual, that goes beyond the date of the referendum is on this date, as long as it's proved. Think we have to find out what that is pretty quickly, so we know we can put out. Because yes, there's a blackout period, but that's around advocacy and spending money. As long as whatever is out there is factual and it's not advocacy based, and it's just information, you have the ability to have something out there. So I think it's important we find out pretty quickly what that is.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that there's. Yes, I
I'll find
agree,
the town clerk and just.
I just wanna err on the side of caution.
Agreed.
Without causing any potential for conflict, if
Yep.
it's. Cause that's the last thing. And it's not what the sign of the dump that. The Bosch half the process. Okay. Speaking of the dump, other upcoming community out. We should have a presence at the dump. At least for the weekends leading up to town meeting and for. Which I'm looking at a calendar now, so town meeting does wind up being on the 15th, so that's. This week and the 29th, 30th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 12th and the 13th. That's 3 weekends of dates. I'm not saying the school building committee should probably have a table there with some people being able to answer questions. We don't need to commit to that now, and we can also, unless other community members help and that, but we should try to at least have somebody with a presence. For as many, as often as we should, because that is where the town goes for. And I think a committee-based table is more effective. And more official than if it were done by other members of the community or political parties or whatever. There's gonna be those there to come too, but I think outside of the table is gonna be important. So I'll send out another sign up sheet hoping for people this week, and we will staff what we can. Easily up and table are not a problem. We still have the banner for the school building committee. We will eventually have boards that we can use. So all I can ask is that we try to get as much. Spread the word, if we can get board of ed members or something like that that are willing to put some time into. And or, community advocates will do that as well.
What are the weekends again? So starting the 29th?
As early as this weekend, if we can make it work,
Dates.
29th, 30th. The 5th and the sixth.
Labor Day weekend might be hard to.
Yeah,
plan that.
I don't disagree, but we can try. I don't know if the hours are different on Labor Day weekend, but I'm probably not. And then the 12th and the 13th. So I will do some sort of I'll do a similar amount, like, Google Sheets thing that we can all start to fill out. Just try to put a couple hours in it, this often. All right. Anybody else got anything else for community events?
Meet and greet is Wednesday. What do you want out for flyers? Do a table at both. It's an hour long. I was thinking the big one poster board that we have that we've been using.
Doesn't have the right reimbursement on it, though.
I don't know if we're gonna have time to get the new accurate information ready for that.
That doesn't, I mean, they could just be the printouts then and school building committee sign.
Hmm.
The,
Yeah, we should do
which is
something.
basically the mailer.
Yeah, let's at least do that, have it available and have something. I don't know who. I'm gonna be there with my kid. So,
You're gonna print this mailer from the back, right?
Yeah.
And throw it on the table.
Yep.
I mean, I know they're gonna get it mailed. Doesn't hurt.
It just is.
and have somebody there to be able to ask questions and talk to
I
about it.
guess,
If
I
you're,
was planning on being at the meet and greets and it's a place for me to stay,
okay,
so.
that's fine. Let's do that.
As long as you're okay with whatever the printout is the most current, what you just sent.
Phil, I think we do this,
Yep,
and what's gonna be our mailer 5? Because this is summary, it gives a sense of schedule. This is not gonna be on the mailer.
yep.
You should have that.
I will confirm with you what I'll email specific documents back and say that just confirm this. So you had the mailer was the financial.
Yeah.
The map flyer and the timeline. Well, yeah. Okay, yep,
And then just somebody available to talk to,
yep,
say how important it is to
yep.
get engaged, ask questions, and then vote.
I'll probably have we'll probably have the flyer done tomorrow, I believe. For that, we're sending out digital backpack, that's for the community conversation, that's on the parent side of things.
Yep.
So I can also have that sitting there so they know that there's.
Awesome. Okay, great. Good point. Anything else? I forgot about that one. All right. Hearing none. Let's move on to approving some minutes. We have August 10th, 2026, 6A. Approval of minutes. Does anybody want to make a motion? If you've had a chance to read them?
I'll move to approve the minutes from August 10th, 2026.
Thank you, Adam. Do we have a second?
Second.
Other Adam? Any discussion? Other than good job, Lisa? Thank you. All right. Doing it again. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
You gonna stay?
All right. Any nays? No, abstention, just Jeremy. All right. Those pass, thank you. Milestone schedules, Scott, we've talked about a lot of this verbatim now, but you do have,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just briefly.
oh, we're down to 1 page.
Touch base on it. Yeah, we've got a working group meeting this Wednesday, which I think will hopefully by that time, we can review the updates to the presentation for TechCon. Phil just went over the school orientation that's happening on Wednesday as well. Following Wednesday, September 2nd, will be, as we've already talked about, the next community discussion at the Hall Memorial School Gymnasium from 7 to 9. Following Tuesday, critical milestone is going to be the public hearing. Again, just to confirm, it's going to be at Willington Hall Hill Fire Station.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. Thank you. Come on here.
You have a mistake here. Next item, Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, well, we had talked about that. I think, yeah, I think that's gonna happen directly after the meeting now. So it'll be a Board of Selectmen meeting directly after the public hearing to set the town meeting. Town meeting, which will take place on Tuesday, September 15th. And then that will set us up for our referendum on September 29th, which is a Tuesday.
So we have, when is our next meeting? 9th. Potentially,
Yeah,
potentially the 9th,
right. We talked about,
if we have a need.
The 9th of September.
Yeah, so it was a placeholder, I think, in there in case following the public hearing, we wanted to discuss or have any further activity following prior to town meeting.
yeah, I think that was before the Board of Selectmen was gonna follow the public hearing, so I don't know how late that's gonna run.
Yeah,
So we had said it would either follow on the 8th, following the public hearing Board of Selectmen meeting, or potentially on the 9th, which would be that Wednesday.
so we'll. I mean, we can call it and they can always cancel.
I think we have, we'll have some feedback or some information, probably respond to.
Yeah, it's gonna be your last week before the town meeting on the 15th to address any further concerns. Or anything that comes out of the public hearing.
Yep, and we have a regular meeting for Monday, the 14th. And then I suspect we will cancel the meeting on the 28th. Because we won't be able. They have to be really careful about what we say, so I think she just wind up canceling it.
Yep.
And then I think what we want to critically be aware of is should that pass, we will have to jump right into developing the next round of solicitation.
Were you gonna set that next one up for the 9th? I think that'd be better. I don't think, it's gonna be pretty late, I think.
Yeah, it'll be, we'll do it on the Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that's better than.
With that said, that is a CIP meeting day. So we will coordinate that one. I got a little time. We'll figure it out.
The whole Board of Ed meeting, because we canceled it for
the Tuesday.
Okay. So we'll have to coordinate that.
We're
Okay.
picking a great date.
Let's,
It's a special meeting too, so we can go earlier.
yeah, let me coordinate that with everybody else who has meeting that's date and we'll figure it out. But I suspect.
That many Zoom links anyway.
Huh?
They have a Board of Ed.
We have our own.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it'll,
No, I was just,
even if we do it at 6 o'clock and discuss for an hour, you know, have it, it'll be a special meeting, if we longer thing, if we gotta get out ahead of another meeting instead of, so. Let me take it through, let me see what other boards have commitments that day. Make sure we even have a space to have it. So, otherwise, I'll poll you guys for alternative options if necessary. Okay. Great. Any other thoughts? This is, the work is done, guys, this is really like.
so can I, just one quick
Yeah,
question
please.
on, not, it's not so much the schedule, but, those working groups. Is there any minutes to those that we can send out if there's no minutes?
No, there are, but it's not a formal meeting.
Well, you have been preparing.
I have been doing notes, yeah.
I don't.
But they haven't been in the last couple weeks. I haven't gotten them in like probably a month.
Yeah, I may have. I think the discussions
make
have been
sure
very
we follow
focused,
on it.
but we'll.
It's just so the members that aren't there knows what's going on behind the
Absolutely.
scenes, because sometimes we're left in the dark.
All right, I'll get on that tomorrow, Jim.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, so when, you have the last ones I've gotten, which, and I don't remember, I think I gave it to you at the last meeting. We had a batch.
I think we canceled this too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the notes. I'll get those out tomorrow.
I'll forward them along when he sends them.
I just haven't, I went back today and so.
No, good question, good point.
So. Assuming we finish the referendum and it's approved by the town. It's our next step. Good.
For DRQs for.
Yeah.
Listing architect, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
what I
grant
would,
application.
yeah, I would encourage you to try and get your OPM on first and let them help develop the contracts for the architect and the RFP. Just because, I mean, I think that'll be a benefit to this committee to help streamline that and make sure that you capture the scope, all of the scope you need of this project.
I just don't want us to drop the ball.
Oh, that's when the real work starts. So. Yeah, this is it's a walk in the park. Now, I mean, will obviously stay built in progress. There'll be a period of a couple of months where we gotta work through and onboard consultants again. Concurrently with grant application work. But good, the referendum pass, it will be in design the team spring of next year. So, and that'll be really exciting.
Yeah, I would anticipate you to be in design by the first of the year. Starting schematic process and onboarding.
By spring. We'll move it along as quickly as we can, but I also recognize that. The town solicitation process can be. A grinding. Endeavor sometimes, we will expedite it quickly like we did when we onboarded this one, this is right here.
Have to go with budget season too.
That is all.
I would say we just can't,
Yeah.
get caught.
All right, well, for now, all focus is on referendum. And we'll keep it that way, and getting the word out. All right, financial report, you guys have a copy of the latest and greatest? Somewhere, I lost mine. I was looking at it, thank you, Lisa. Couple of items to note, and you'll see it in the invoicing, we had a $3,000 hold for the site clearing, which came in well under, which is great, so you'll have both that money back, which basically. Offset some of the expenditures we made tonight. Mailer number 4 obviously came in great, I just don't have that back from, it wasn't the 2,000 we allocated, thinking we might need to print somewhere else, it was the same $1,000. So. And mailer 5 isn't 1,500, it's close to that $1,000 again, so, all of those remaining encumbrances came in under, which was great, so the balance up above is. More than what it is, and that, as shown on this, is 21,150. And with that, we have 2 invoices to pay tonight. The first one is County Line Septic. It is for the site clearing and it came in for $700 for the 3,000 we allocated, and that is. The entirety of that effort. So, I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice from County Line Septic. Invoice number 87224. With a service date of 7/27/2026 in the amount of $700 for brush clearing at the new property parcels. Who said that? Jeremy.
I'll just note that it's not something repaired, it says it's.
Yeah, the description is brush mowing at 83 River Road. Willington property. It's probably inaccurate, but that's what the work is for. This came through the select. Requested directly. All right, no further discussion. Hearing none, let's just try to save Lisa some. Next, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? All right, unanimous, thank you. Next up, we have, an invoice from Clarence Wealthy Associates. It's been approved for payment by our OPM. This is for the test borings and geotech work, the report of which you received in your by email ahead of this meeting. Their work is complete and it's on the, there it is. Yeah, it's on the second page. Yeah. So that would clear out that encumbrance that we have in full. It's done. Yeah. So I'll move that we approve the invoice from Clarence Welty Associates Inc. Looks like invoice number 22443. In the amount of $9,500. Dated August 17th, 2026.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? All right, I think that was it. That's all we have for invoicing. Thank you very much, everybody. That's the quote,
Right.
as long as we have that encumbered. All right, so I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:54 PM. Adam, as long as it's all on that, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody online. Have a good night.